Charlie Munger, the famous billionaire investor and vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, often said that the hardest part of building wealth is reaching your first $100,000. This sentiment is shared by many others who have become financially successful. They believe that once you hit this first milestone, wealth begins to grow faster, and the journey to your first million, while still challenging, becomes easier. It's often said that once you get to $100,000, the next 100,000 comes more quickly, and before you know it, you've accumulated 200,000, 300,000, or even 400,000. The same goes for reaching $1 million. After you reach that first million, the second million comes faster, and the process seems to take less time. This is a comforting thought for anyone who feels like building wealth is slow or difficult in the beginning. But why does it get easier over time? Let's explore the reasons behind this phenomenon and look at ways you can accelerate your journey to wealth, allowing you to reach your goals faster. One of the biggest challenges people face when trying to build wealth is simply starting. Many people don't prioritize investing, pushing it off for later. How often do you hear people say they will start investing when they have more money? But waiting until you have more money is like waiting for a fire to start producing heat before adding wood. You don't invest because you already have a lot of money. You invest because you want to grow your money. Another reason people avoid investing is the fear of risk. Many of us know someone who thinks investing is too risky and avoids it altogether. Like with many things in life, the hardest part is taking the first step. When your financial goals feel far away, it's easy to put them off, thinking you'll deal with them in the future. Reaching your first $100,000 requires what is often called heavy lifting. In other words, you need to personally contribute most of the money yourself. Early on, your investments might not feel like they are making much of a difference. For example, if you invest $5,000 and earn a 10% return, you've only made $500. While that's nice, $500 might not feel significant, especially if you could earn it by working a few extra hours at your job. However, when you have $100,000 invested and earn that same 10% return, you've made $10,000. That's a noticeable amount of money. And when your investments reach $1 million, a 10% return gives you $100,000, which is more than many people earn in a year from their jobs. As your wealth grows, the returns on your investments start to feel more meaningful, and that can motivate you to keep going. Once your portfolio reaches a certain size, compound interest starts to do the heavy lifting for you. Compound interest means you earn interest on your original investment, plus any interest you've already earned. So, over time, your money grows faster and faster. For example, a $100 investment may not seem like much, but if you invest that money instead of spending it, you could earn around $10 in the first year, $11 the second year, and $12 the third year. While these amounts may not sound impressive at first, the key is that this growth builds upon itself year after year. The more you save and invest, the faster your wealth grows. Once you experience how powerful compound interest can be, you may start looking for ways to grow your wealth even faster. Instead of spending money on things that aren't necessary, like an expensive dinner, you might decide to invest that money instead, knowing it will pay off in the future. Over time, these small decisions add up. As you save and invest more, you begin to see your wealth grow more quickly, and you have more options. For example, when you've saved $100,000, you have more financial flexibility than someone living paycheck to paycheck. If a job opportunity comes up that offers the potential to earn more money but is a bit risky, you can afford to take the chance because you have savings to fall back on. Let's say you have a job that pays $50,000 a year, but you are offered a position with a higher income potential, say $100,000 or more. However, the new job is commission-based, meaning the pay isn't steady. If you need that $50,000 paycheck to survive, taking the risk might not be practical, but if you have $100,000 saved, you have a safety net and can afford to take the leap. Having money saved also opens the door to other opportunities, such as starting your own business. Maybe you've always dreamed of running your own company, but never had the capital to get started. If you have savings, you can take that risk and potentially make millions. Without savings, these opportunities remain out of reach. Similarly, if an investment opportunity comes up, like buying a house for a great price, having the financial cushion to make that investment is key. While it might not always be wise to cash out your investments, Having the option to do so gives you more control over your financial future. Taking on more risk. When you have more money, you can afford to take on more risk with your investments. For example, if you have extra money and see potential in a new stock or business venture, you can invest in it without worrying that losing the money will ruin you financially. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world because you'll still have other investments to rely on. But someone who hasn't saved much money doesn't have this option. If they make a bad investment, they could lose everything they've worked for. Tips for reaching $100,000 faster. If you're still working toward your first $100,000, there are ways to speed up the process. Since most of this money will come from what you personally contribute, the best way to reach your goal faster is by increasing how much you save. This might mean taking on a side job or starting a small business to bring in extra income. It's also important to be mindful of your spending. For example, instead of going out to eat regularly, you might decide to save that money and only treat yourself on special occasions. Remember, these small sacrifices are only temporary until you reach your goal. Once you hit $100,000, you can loosen up a bit. One common mistake people make is buying expensive cars they don't need. Car payments are a major reason why many people struggle to save money. Avoiding these large, unnecessary expenses can help you build wealth much faster. Building good habits. As you become more familiar with saving and investing, it will get easier to continue. By the time you've saved a significant amount of money, you'll already be in the habit of looking for ways to make extra income and deciding whether purchases are really necessary. You'll also become more comfortable with investing and taking on risk. Once you reach $100,000, according to Charlie Munger, you can take your foot off the gas a little. Although your next milestone might be $1 million, it becomes easier because compound interest starts doing most of the work for you. Rather than relying on your personal contributions, your money will begin growing on its own. So if you're feeling stressed about how slowly your wealth is growing, take comfort in knowing that it will get easier over time. As your investments grow, you'll find that building wealth becomes not only more enjoyable but also more rewarding.